الشيطان الرجيم. حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل لغير الله به والمنخنقة والموقوذة والمتردية والنطيحة وما أكل السبع إلا ما ذكيتم وما ذبح على النصب وأن تستقسموا بالأزلام ذلكم فسق. اليوم يئس الذين كفروا من دينكم فلا تخشوهم واخشون. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. فمن اضطر في مخمصة غير متجانف لإثم فإن الله غفور رحيم. يسألونك ماذا أحل لهم قل أحل لكم الطيبات وما علمتم من الجوارح مكلبين تعلمونهن مما علمكم الله فكلوا مما أمسكن عليكم واذكروا اسم الله عليه واتقوا الله إن الله سريع الحساب. اليوم أحل لكم الطيبات وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم وطعامكم حل لهم. والمحصنات من المؤمنات والمحصنات من الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم إذا آتيتموهن أجورهن محصنين غير مسافحين ولا متخذي أخدان. ومن يكفر بالإيمان فقد حبط عمله وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا حبيبنا حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد فقد قال الله في كتابه المبين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي. Brothers and sisters, please can we begin with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. With the permission, inshallah, with the respected ulama in attendance. Today, first and foremost, I would like to send my condolences to Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman upon the wafat of Sayyidah Khadija. Now, when we look at the life of Sayyidah Khadija, brothers and sisters, when we look at the birth and death of Sayyidah Khadija, there's many lessons that come to light. There's many things that we can implement in our own day-to-day lives. And there's one characteristic, there is one trait of Sayyidah Khadija, for me, in my personal humble opinion, that stands far beyond all others. And if this is a trait that we can implement and access in our own everyday lives, then we've benefited from the life of Sayyidah Khadija. And if not, then in Farsi they say, "Chizi as das dadid," you've given something away. So first and foremost, brothers and sisters, I would like to ask you, what is the virtue that takes precedence over all virtues? What is the virtue that takes importance over all virtues? There's many virtues in akhlaq, yes? For example, being kind. For example, being patient. What is the virtue that takes precedence over them all? What is the best virtue that we can say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon man? Brothers and sisters, the best virtue that has been bestowed upon man is that of being truthful. Number one sifat, number one aspect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in all the dars akhlaq that we have, in all the buhuth of ethics that we have, ties down to truthfulness, ties down to how true one is. Now, speaking about Sayyidah Khadija, how does this link with her? We have a tradition from Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Where he states that the foundation of religion is in what? We state what the foundation of religion is. Is it in salah? No. Is it in zakah? No. Is it in fasting? No. Amir al-Mu'mineen stated that the foundation of our religion is based in truthfulness and is based in loyalty. And this latter is going to be the topic of conversation that we are going to be having today. When we speak about loyalty, most verily this is a foundation of religion. And when we speak about loyalty, no one has exemplified loyalty better than Sayyidah Khadija. No wife has exemplified loyalty better than Sayyidah Khadija. No individual has exemplified loyalty better than Sayyidah Khadija. So when we look at Sayyidah Khadija, it's important to look at the journey from the beginning. It's important to look at the journey of Sayyidah Khadija from the advent of Islam. When we look at the advent of Islam, what role can we say Sayyidah Khadija had here? The word that I like to use when looking at Sayyidah Khadija's role in pertaining to the religion of Islam, I like to use the word nursing. Sayyidah Khadija nursed the religion of Islam. When the religion of Islam was in its infancy, when the religion of Islam was at its most vulnerable, when the religion of Islam was at its most difficult stage, it was Sayyidah Khadija who cradled the religion of Islam. It was Sayyidah Khadija who nurtured the religion of Islam to have the Islam that we're practicing here today. Sayyidah Khadija gave all of her wealth. What did Rasulullah state? If it wasn't for the sword of Ali and the wealth of Khadija, Islam would not have existed. Islam would not have continued. So if we look at the individual responsible, and if we look at the individual responsible for the propagation of the religion of Islam and for the continuation of the religion of Islam, Sayyidah Khadija's name most verily comes on top of that list. And on what basis am I making this claim? on the sifat of loyalty. No one, as I stated, no one exemplified loyalty more than Sayyidah Khadija. So when we look at Sayyidah Khadija, and I have very limited time to make my point, so inshallah we will be able to complete our discourse. We look at her relationship with Rasulullah. When we look at her relationship with Rasulullah, it wasn't a normal event when she passed away, yes? One may say that there are many wives. One may say that there were many companions. But the year that she passed away was known as the year of grief, along with Abu Talib. The year that she passed away, Rasulullah was in grief. Why is this the case? Because Rasulullah himself stated the station of Khadija is far higher than the station of anyone else. And is far higher than the station of any other wife. And the aspect of loyalty, loyalty is our topic for discussion today. The aspect of loyalty that I want to talk about here is that what did Khadija give to the religion of Islam? What did Khadija give to the religion of Rasulullah and of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Brothers and sisters, she gave everything, is the answer to that question. Everything was given for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything was given to Rasulullah. When conversations began arising about Sayyidah Khadija marrying Rasulullah, Rasulullah said he wanted to engage in conversation. He said, I am someone who doesn't have a lot of material wealth. And you are an individual who has a lot of material wealth. How is this going to work out? Of course, Rasulullah was just tested. Sayyidah Khadija, what did she respond with? She said, when I am going to be married to you, what I have is yours. My wealth is your wealth, and everything is to be spent in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isn't this a lesson? Isn't this something we need to take into consideration? That she was wealthy and she gave everything. If we have wealth, we, for example, spend some of it on charity, some of it in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and most of it, for example, our own personal desires. But when it came to the crux of it, in the valley of Abu Talib, what happened? She gave everything. There was not a thing that she left behind, so it became very clear that it wasn't the wealth that she was interested in, it was getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So us, if we are in possession of wealth, if we're in possession of authority, it's our responsibility here to do what exactly? We're custodians of this. The same way Sayyidah Khadija was. She wasn't hoarding her wealth. She wasn't adding it. She wasn't increasing it. She had a certain amount of wealth, and when the opportunity came to spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she spent so much to the extent she didn't even have a kafan. When Sayyidah Khadija passed away, she did not have enough money to buy a kafan. This is taslim. This is surrender. This is actually being devout to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sacrificing everything fi sabilillah. Because we know, فَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ إِنَّ رَبِّهِمْ يَرْزَقُونَ. That most verily those who die in the way of their Lord are not dead, they are receiving sustenance from their Lord. Tell me, if this is not dying in the way of your Lord, what is? We think about immortality, we think about legacy. We think about things that we can do in order for us to live a longer life, or at least to be remembered after we've passed away. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if you have died in the way of Allah, do not think of those as dead. Surely they're receiving sustenance from their Lord. So speaking about the wealth of Khadija, this is something that was given to Rasulullah, and it was referred to in Surah Duha in ayah number 8. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَوَجَدْكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى. When this ayah was brought down to Rasulullah, this was in relation to the wealth of Sayyidah Khadija. That you were poor and you did not have money, and now we have made you self-sufficient. And now we have given you wealth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Duha, He has a direct address with Rasulullah. We found you an orphan and now you are guided. We found you lost and now we have given you a path. We found you poor and now we have made you self-sufficient. The self-sufficiency in this aspect is talking about the wealth of Sayyidah Khadija. Now, understanding this aspect and understanding loyalty, what does it actually mean to be loyal? What does it mean? I can theorize all day long, no? But how can I take the loyalty from the life of Sayyidah Khadija and actually implement it in my own life? How can I take the loyalty from the life of such a woman and actually use it to purify my own soul and actually use it to do tazkiyah to such an extent where it forms the root of my religion? As I just stated, Amir al-Mu'mineen said the foundation of your religion is truthfulness and loyalty. What is this loyalty that forms the root of my religion? What is this loyalty that forms the foundation of religion? Inshallah, we will be discussing that over the next few minutes. So the word for loyalty in Arabic is what, brothers and sisters? Wafa. Correct? When we look at, for example, ilm akhlaq, and when we look at these ulum, The word wafa is what translates in akhlaq. So when we're keeping the hadith in mind that states that the foundation of your religion is loyalty, I need to understand what is this loyalty that is forming the foundation of my religion. It's not an action which is important, no? Some people think, for example, the foundation of your religion is in salah. Of course, it's incredibly important. The foundation of your religion is in fasting. These are actions, but actions come from what? Values. We need to understand that the foundation of religion is in values. The foundation of religion is in loyalty. And the foundation of religion is in truthfulness. One who masters the traits of truthfulness and loyalty, how can they not pray salah? One who masters the traits of truthfulness and loyalty, how can they not fast in Ramadan? This is why Ali ibn Abi Talib stated that this is the foundation of our religion. This is the very reason, because values cause actions. It's not actions that cause values. So loyalty, how are we going to define it? Loyalty is something that is very all-encompassing, right? We need it with our interpersonal relationships. We need it with our relationships with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need it in our relationships with our family. It's incredibly all-encompassing. So this value that I am trying to learn, and this value that I am trying to gain, this is something, of course, that will benefit my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But even on the micro level, my relationship with people, on an interpersonal level, will benefit from this. Would it not? For example, in social interaction, if someone is not loyal, what happens? You walk away from them. If someone is not loyal, you have an individual, they said something, now they have broken that trust. Is anyone going to be brothers with them? Is anyone going to be friends with them? Is anyone going to be acquaintances with them? Is anyone going to offer their daughter to marry them? Of course not. So when we speak about loyalty on the interpersonal level, this is something of utmost importance. And when we look at what loyalty actually means, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, brings a very interesting tradition. We say, how can we be selected? Yes? How can we be selected to be in the 313? How can we be selected to be of the chosen ones of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can we be selected to be of those who are guided? How can we be selected to be of those who are on the correct path, sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim? How can we be on that path of the sirat? How? How can we be selected? Amir al-Mu'mineen states, one who is loyal deserves to be selected. One who is loyal. So the importance is now going higher and higher, is it not? That in order to be selected, what's the virtue that's important here? The virtue that's important here is simply that of loyalty. And if we want to be selected, if we want to be in the army of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, if we want to be in the army of the final Imam, the virtue that's been given to us, Amir al-Mu'mineen is stating, is that of loyalty. But again, the question remains, what exactly is loyalty? If we were to have a dars, if we were to have a lesson right now, how would we define loyalty? Brothers and sisters, loyalty, and I will conclude my discussion, I'm running out of time, is of 5 types. Bear this in mind. Loyalty is of 5 types. Type number 1 is wafa bil ahad. Yes, it's we can say loyalty of the promise. When we speak about the loyalty of the promise, and more specifically the loyalty of the agreement, what does this mean? This means, for example, I have agreed to sell you something, and you have agreed to pay me money for it. If I have sold you that thing, and you had paid me for it, the wafa and the loyalty in this aspect has been fulfilled. The wafa bil ahad in this aspect has been fulfilled. That's our first type of loyalty. What's our second type of loyalty? Wafa bil wa'ad, the loyalty of the promise. When we look at the loyalty of the promise, this is now no longer a two-sided engagement, right? The first was a two-sided engagement. I will give you something, you give something back. As long as you both keep to our side of the bargain, loyalty has taken place. When we look at wafa bil wa'ad specifically in this aspect, this is of a promise. This is only one-sided. I promise that I will do this for you. I promise that I will go there. I promise that I will fulfill this. This aspect of loyalty, and you can only claim to be loyal. You can only claim to be accepted. You can only claim to have fulfilled the foundations of religion only if you have fulfilled the promise. Only if you have delivered on the promise you have delivered. So loyalty now, we have the loyalty in agreements. We have the loyalty in promises. What's the third one? Trusts. The third type of loyalty is a loyalty of trust. Rasulullah was infamous for this, was he not? People used to leave things with him. And he was so loyal. This is the definition of loyalty. And this is why it's stated that loyalty and trustworthiness are two sides of the same coin. Yes? That he was so loyal and he was so trustworthy that even his enemies used to leave trust behind with him, and they knew that it would be in safe hands. That's the degree of loyalty we need to have. Yes? Sometimes even, for example, people we know might not leave things with us. However, if we look at the life of Rasulullah, his enemies used to leave trust with him because they knew that the loyalty was beyond anything. The loyalty was the overbearing characteristic. So loyalty and trust is the third regard. The fourth regard. What's the fourth aspect of loyalty? In regards to benefactors. What does this mean? Say, for example, someone's done something good for you. Someone has given you a job. Someone has given you a trust. Someone has given you money. At that time, we're very grateful. Are we not? At that time, we're very thankful. But loyalty is what? That you remember them moving forward. So they've done something for you. However, moving on, you keep that relationship with them. You stay appreciative of them. And you remember that the ihsan that was done to you, of course it was an ihsan from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you need to remember the intermediary. So the fourth aspect of trust is trust of the benefactors. We can never forget those who have done something good for us. So remember, brothers and sisters, and if we're going home today, remember those who have an ihsan on us, who have done one on us long ago. We may think under some delusion that we've paid them back, right? We're under some impression, yes, they did something for me, but I did this back to them. In what position are we to do anything for anyone? We're simply wasilas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're simply wasilas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So do not allow this to become a point of arrogance where we state that they did something for us, but we repaid them. No. Loyalty is when someone has done something for you and you remember that. Someone has done something for you and you keep that ilm moving forward. This is what loyalty is. This forms the foundation of your iman. And the final aspect of leadership, before we conclude our discussion, is what exactly? The final aspect of leadership that we're speaking about here, or rather the final aspect of loyalty that we're speaking about here, is leadership, as I just mentioned. Loyalty towards your leaders. And what better story, brothers and sisters, than the story of Imam Hussein? What better story, brothers and sisters, than the story of Karbala? What higher loyalty was shown here when loyalty to the leaders is being taken into consideration? Imam gave them the option. You can flee in the night so no one sees you. And in order to make them feel good, in order not to make them feel guilty, he said, take some of my family members with you. You know, so they don't feel that they're fleeing. Take some of my family members with you. You can flee in the night. We know we are not going to win this battle. We know we're not going to win this battle of Karbala. You may flee in the night and no one will think any differently of you. What was the loyalty shown here? It does not matter if we are killed and we are brought back to life. And we're killed and brought back to life again, we will die for Hussein ibn Ali. This is loyalty. Loyalty to the leader that you understand is on the path of truth and on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have now covered the 5 aspects of loyalty. We need to now ask the question, bringing us to a close. What makes us disloyal? If loyalty is so important that it forms the foundation of my faith, then what's going to break the foundations of my faith? What's going to make me disloyal? In one sentence, if I was to tell you the thing that makes us disloyal, brothers and sisters, is not fulfilling our rights and not fulfilling our responsibilities. Imam Zayn al-Abidin salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, has a beautiful book called Risalat al-Huquq. In that, the rights and responsibilities of everything you can think of is in there. A small book. The rights of your aides upon you. The rights of your teacher upon you. The rights of your mother upon you. The rights of your feet upon you. All of the rights have been listed, and one who negates their rights and responsibilities, the definition that has been given to us is that this individual is disloyal. This individual is not of those who are loyal. And if they are not of the ones who are loyal, therefore what occurs here? Therefore, simply the foundations of our iman are taken, the foundations of our belief are taken, and we are in no position to be selected for the army of our imam, as we are not loyal in this aspect. So disloyalty is such. The negation of rights, the negation of responsibilities. However, if you fulfill your rights and if you fulfill your responsibilities, then loyalty has occurred here. And this is what it means to be loyal. This is what it means to learn from the life of Sayyidah Khadija. This is what it means to learn from the life of Hussein ibn Ali and all of his companions. This is what it means for us to be loyal in our everyday life. Just fulfill your rights and responsibilities upon your family, upon your parents, upon your children, upon your community, then you will be counted among those who are loyal. Loyalty is what, brothers and sisters? Loyalty is what? Loyalty, as I stated, is something that is most closely linked to truthfulness. What did Amir al-Mu'mineen state? Truthfulness and loyalty form the foundations of your iman. So if I understand that that's what truthfulness is, and if I understand that this is what loyalty is, then in essence, the bahs that we have been having over the past few days links perfectly with this. Loyalty is nothing but analyzing the haqq. Loyalty is nothing but analyzing the haqiqah. Loyalty is nothing but analyzing the truth of the situation, being objective in your endeavors, seeing what's right and fulfilling your responsibilities. That's what loyalty is. Loyalty is not defending a tribe. Loyalty is not, for example, defending someone who you know is doing wrong and you're saying, for example, I'm defending them, therefore I'm loyal. That's not loyalty. Loyalty, as we have stated, is making sure you implement your rights and responsibilities and identifying what haqq is and identifying what the truth is. And as I mentioned, brothers and sisters, Sayyidah Khadija was in the highest position to fulfill all 5 roles of those who are loyal. And if we look at the station of Sayyidah Khadija herself, the wives of Rasulullah used to ask that, why is it that you still mourn over Sayyidah Khadija? Why is it that you give afzaliyah to Sayyidah Khadija over all of your other wives? Are we not your wives too? The tradition states. Are we not your wives too? Rasulullah stated, of course you are the wives, however, there is something about Khadija that nobody has. They said, what? Rasulullah stated, when we look at the life of Sayyidah Khadija believed in me when no one believed in me. This is loyalty. Sayyidah Khadija believed in me when no one believed in me. Take this to your lives. When you're trying to pursue something of the haqq and no one believes in you and there's that one person who does, that's loyalty. Rasulullah said, Khadija believed in me when no one believed in me. Khadija bore me children where the other wives didn't bear me children. Khadija came to Islam when all of you were in kufr. So how can you say to me the station of Khadija is not far higher? So inshallah, if we have the tawfiq, my time unfortunately has concluded, we will, with the help of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, live the life that Sayyidah Khadija wanted us to live. Yes, I can give the fazila, I can give the musibah of Sayyidah Khadija. However, on Yawm al-Akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to ask us about the fazila and the musibah of Sayyidah Khadija. What is He going to ask us? He's going to ask how we lived upon the seerah of Sayyidah Khadija. How did you implement loyalty? How did you implement truthfulness? How did you implement these virtues that Sayyidah Khadija lived for and Sayyidah Khadija died for? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq to live the life of Sayyidah Khadija, inshaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq to be among those on the army of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq to succeed in jihadun akbar. Wa akhir da'wana walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Salawat ala Muhammad wa alihi al-tahirin.
اللهم رب الشهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وافترضت على عبادك فيه صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في يومي هذا وفي كل آن واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام فإنه لا يغفر غيرك يا رحمن يا الله.
السلام عليك يا زوجة رسول الله. السلام عليك يا أم فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا أم الأئمة الطاهرين. السلام عليك يا أم المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا من سلم عليها جبرائيل. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
ای تکیهگاه جان محمد شونه به شونه همراه احمد مرهون لطفت کن و مکان عرض سلامم بر نور سرمست. اگه نبود این همه عطر نماز و دعا نبود دین حق زمین. یا ام المؤمنین، ای بهترین الگوی زنها روی زمین. یا ام المؤمنین، یا ام المؤمنین، یا ام المؤمنین. ماه شبای تارم الوداع، لبخند تو بهارم الوداع. منم و گریه های فاطمه، تا به غمش ندارم الوداع، تا به غمش ندارم الوداع. ای مونس دیرین من، زیر دین تو دین من. ای مونس دیرین من، زیر دین تو دین من. ای یاور و یارم، ماه غم گسارم، بی تو بی قرارم. خدا نگهدار خدیجه، ای ماه رسول. محرم راز من، بانوی من، گویی که می رود جان از تنم. شمع مزار تو شد اشک من، کفن تو شده پیراهنم، کفن تو اشک غم ما را ببین، بیتابی زهرا ببین. رفتی و نشسته غبار غم تو به دل شکسته. خدا نگهدار خدیجه، ای ماه رسول، مادر زهرای بتول.
دور شدم از این و آن، با خودم آشنا شدم. آینه در حجاز بود، عاشق مصطفی شدم. سرمه نمیبرم به چین، قند و شکر نمیخرم، نقره و زر نخواستم، صاحب کیمیا شدم. بار شتر گذاشتم، وقف تو هرچه داشتم، دانه عشق کاشتم، در قفست رها شدم. با تو جرس به هر نفس مصرع عاشقانه است، با تو پر از قصیدم، با تو غزل سرا شدم. ای که ملول میشوی از نفس فرشته ها، باور من نمی شود هم نفس خدا شدم. سفره دل برای من باز کن، آیه‌ای بخوان، حرف بزن که محرم زمزمه حرا شدم. قطره من فرات شد، ذره‌ام آفتاب شد، پیش تو سید البشر سیدة النسا شدم. پشت سرت من و علی قامت عشق بسته ایم، تو همه مقتدا شدی من همه اقتدا شدم. من به تو دست یا علی دادم از صمیم دل، مرگ جدام کرده است از تو اگر جدا شدم. لحظه آخرین غزل، ترس ندارم از اجل، پیرهن تو در بغل، با تو دوباره ما شدم.
نسألك يا من هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل السميع البصير الحكم العدل اللطيف الخبير الحليم العظيم الغفور الشكور العلي الكبير الحفيظ المقيت الحسيب الجليل الكريم الرقيب المجيب الواسع الحكيم الودود المجيد الباعث الشهيد الحق الوكيل القوي المتين الولي الحميد المحصي المبدئ المعيد المحيي المميت الحي القيوم الواجد الماجد الواحد الصمد القادر المقتدر المقدم المؤخر الأول الآخر الظاهر الباطن الوالي المتعالي البر التواب المنتقم العفو الرؤوف مالك الملك ذو الجلال والإكرام المقسط الجامع الغني المغني المانع الضار النافع النور الهادي البديع الباقي الوارث الرشيد الصبور الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير اللهم صل أفضل صلاة على أسعد مخلوقاتك سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك ذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون
لا تزغ قلوبنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا ربنا آمنا فاغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن عليًّا ولي الله أشهد أن عليًّا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه علي وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك من علي بفكاك رغبتي من النار في من تمن علي وأدخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.